We as a society have created Jake Paul, right?
Yeah.
All right, what is up everybody? This is Chris from The Rewired Soul, where we talk about the problem, but focus on the solution. And this is my beautiful mother, Dr. Carrie Randazzo. Say hi.
Hi.
All right, so I don't know if this video is gonna be edited, so we're gonna try to do this in one take. I'm in California right now. My mom just watched the new Shane Dawson episode with me. What is it, The World of Jake Paul? My mom, she has a PhD in psychology, so I was like, yo girl, why don't you come over here and talk to me about this? And we had to pause it a million times because she had a lot of questions about who Jake Paul is, who Shane Dawson is, and things like that. So without further ado, let's get started. So I prefaced to my mom about the whole sociopath idea and so first let's talk about, you mentioned something called ODD, oppositional...
Defiant disorder.
Okay, so explain to these people, what is this oppositional defiance disorder?
Well, that's a disorder, that's not a personality disorder,
okay?
So it's just a disorder where people act out. Okay, young people normally, they're oppositional. So it's kind of, it states kind of what it is. Oppositional.
Defiance disorder.
Defiant.
So do they have like a problem with authority? They don't like people telling them what to do?
Exactly.
And a lot of young,
act out.
So a lot of young people have that even if they're not.
Yeah, if they come from,
Yeah, because something I was telling you and I've told my audience, like some people don't need a diagnosable disorder to just be a jerk, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't always have to pathologize everybody.
Yeah.
That kind of worries me.
Yeah, no, that's one of the reasons that I make my videos and make my channel. Like, I feel a lot of words are overused. Like have you ever met somebody who anxious, or I'm depressed, or have you met somebody who likes to keep their desk a certain way and they say, oh, I'm so OCD about my desk.
Yeah, right, anal.
Yeah, right, yeah. So that's kind of what this whole thing seems like it's becoming, but this episode, I'm gonna do another recap. So make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell, but this is me talking to my professional psychologist mother. All right, I wrote down some notes. Those of you who know I like a notepad. So Mom, watching that, you were talking about positive reinforcement. Can you talk about a little bit this is your first introduction to Jake Paul. Can you talk a little bit about positive reinforcement and Jake Paul? Okay,
so the first time I've seen his video, I've never heard his name, and we're walking up to his home, right? So I look at you and I said, was he born rich? And you said, no, he's made money off of his videos. That's what you said to me.
Yeah.
And I start laughing. Because, and then it shows a clip of him starting fire around himself and running.
Oh, wow. Oh, God, it's already in flames. Oh, my God. Whoa. How did that even happen?
And then I'm really laughing.
Yeah. What about the mac and cheese?
And then he throws mac and cheese on his mother or his girlfriend.
Something like that.
And I said, how many of us would make mac and cheese and throw it on our darn grandmother if we're gonna get a house like that?
Right?
Right.
Do you think he really dumped 30 boxes of macaroni and cheese on his girlfriend?
I think he did it.
What a monster!
What we were talking about, we were kind of laughing because it seems like we try to overanalyze everything and are they a sociopath, are they this, are they a narcissist, and all this other stuff. But just based on how the human brain works, right, and how our brains are wired, this positive reinforcement, we, even if it's not me and you, my mom and I were talking about, we as a society have created Jake Paul, right?
Yeah.
Like the guy goes and does insane stuff. He gets millions of views, millions of dollars, so he is learning that, oh, when I do these things, I get rewarded for it.
He said he's taking a vacation because it's tiring thinking of the next thing to do.
Yeah, and he's trying to up his game over and over.
He has to.
Yeah, and that's just, my mom and I, we're both in recovery, but that's how it is. We're always looking for more and more and more, right? There's never enough money, there's never enough success, but a lot of people have these traits. So kind of what we're talking about is, like I said, even if it's not me and you directly, but our society has created people like Jake Paul because we feed into that. Something I was talking to my mom about though, I'm a father, clearly she's a parent because I came from her, but Jake Paul's audience is largely children, right?
Right.
So the fact that parents are letting them watch Jake Paul, parents are buying Jake Paul's merch for their kids, what is stopping Jake from doing this? Like, that's kind of how, like, he's not having any negative reinforcement.
Yeah, why would I stop?
Yeah.
If I'm being positive reinforcement means I'm adding something to make your behavior continue.
Yeah, right? But if, so what would be negative reinforcement in this scenario? Like, he did something crazy and then...
Stop watching him.
Yeah.
Don't
right?
buy his merch.
Yeah, so if
I
he released a video and didn't get any views or any merch, his brain would probably connect and say, oh.
Well, why would I keep doing it?
Yeah, why would I do that if I'm getting negative?
All right. Negative means taking away.
And that's kind of interesting. So like, and this is a little bit of a philosophical question, is Jake Paul the problem, do you think? Or do you think society's the problem?
I think it's probably a mixture of both, because then I heard some other stuff.
Yeah?
You know, his family, he's divorced, his father.
Yeah, you're gonna start making them feel bad for Jake Paul though.
Oh, I like Jake Paul. I liked him.
You liked it. You heard it here first. Jake Paul, if you're watching, my mother.
I liked you.
My mother I think she even called him cute. All right.
He is cutie.
Okay, so something my mom, and by the way, you guys in the comments below, I'm trying to get my mom to move to Las Vegas to start doing YouTube videos with me. And here's one of the reasons why. As we're watching this, she brings up, and I wrote this down wrong, as you can see, Kohlberg's stages of morality. Can you explain this to me? What is this?
It just means that, and I have to get into it. I mean, I'm just going to break it down really quick.
Like a 2-minute.
It's a developmental stage that we all go through, is from childhood, really young, to adulthood, that we move from one stage of moral, why we do right and wrong, what is right and wrong, how we grow up, and why we follow rules, and sometimes we get stuck in a stage. So it's not because you're antisocial. Or, yeah,
because I explained to my mom the whole antisocial personality disorder and stuff like that. But like, what we're kind of talking about is like, Jake is pretty much an adult child, right? Do you see this a lot with, so my mom, just so you know, specializes in addiction. Do you see this a lot with people with addictions? Like, they say that when we start drinking and using, like, we stop maturing emotionally.
You get stunted. And that's why I said he's a little cutie, because he's probably in his early 20s.
Yeah, he's like 21.
But his spirit or his emotional, just from looking, I'm not making a diagnosis, he seemed younger than his stated age.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, when we're talking about these things, it might not be some diagnosable disorder, but there's a reason why he isn't acting like an adult. Right? Does that kind of make sense?
Why should he have to?
Yeah, why should he have to? If you're getting paid to act like a kid. Like,
I would.
So when we were talking about this, and like, and by the way, save some of it, because I'm doing 3 videos with my mom total, and we're gonna do another one about sociopaths, because my mom has interesting stories. But anyways, but you knew about, you know, kind of the dialogue or the storyline that was like, is he a sociopath? But there was one scene where they talked about one of the ex-Team 10 members, like, pretty much stole a YouTube account, changed the passwords, and Jake was talking to Shane, and he said that he gave somebody his second account. Like, for you, is that like, you said, oh, that's nice, like...
Right, in fact, he was talking about how he gave people homes, money, to join him, and I'm like, that's a giving person. If anything, he might have a little, what we call codependency.
Yeah.
You know, he enables people until they're...
Do you think, like, so when
I don't know.
Yeah. But like, what I try to do, all of you know this because you subscribe to me, all of you know, like, I try to take these situations and try to teach the audience about it. Like, do you think maybe Jake gives people so many things just so people hang around with him? So he has friends?
I don't know that. I couldn't tell by looking at the video.
Do you know of people who do that?
Of course.
Yeah. So like, that's something just
and
for...
he said, I want my parents to be proud.
Yeah.
So he's looking for... You know, he does a lot of his things is he wants people to be proud of them. Yeah. And happy. So
something that just everybody should look at. Like, I know I've had personal experience with that in the past. Like, oh, well, if I just buy my friends things, then people will want to hang out with me. You know what I mean? So there might, we're not diagnosing any codependency up in here.
No.
But there might be some of that going on. But the last thing. So I explained to my mom, you know, the Kati Morton situation. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist. Save some of it for the next video. But like, what we were talking about, does it seem, in your opinion, did it seem like Kati Morton might have had some bias? Like, did you feel that she already had a preconceived notion, like, we're going with this sociopath kind of storyline was she trying to, do you think that there was a little bit of bias and she might have been putting him in that box based on some things like, oh, he said this or he said that?
Well, I don't want to cut her down because I really didn't see that much of her.
Yeah.
But she was looking for tendencies.
Yes.
So, of course, I mean, she wasn't going in a blank slate going,
Yes.
let me just see some quality. She said, oh, he exhibited this.
Yeah.
I did see this, or I was waiting for this.
So
Maybe we have to watch when we're evaluating somebody that we have what we call a blank kind of a slate.
yeah. So let me ask you this. This is just interesting. It just popped in my head. So like, my mom does some assessments for the judicial system for people, but like, do you think, like, does it alter her opinion? Like Jake Paul, like I know you didn't know who Jake Paul is, but Katie Morton as a YouTuber, she knows who Jake Paul is. Do you think she's automatically going to have a bias because she already knows who he is?
She could.
So like in the court system, like, would a psychologist have any kind of bias? Like if it was a celebrity who was on trial, like, does that make sense?
We could. We have to watch where we're coming from constantly.
Yeah.
So we have to watch what we call transference and countertransference.
Yes.
My experience in the world and knowing you and evaluating you.
Yeah.
So we just have to keep everything in check.
Yeah.
I find myself feeling bad for him, and that makes me suspicious. Even though my inner self is like, he's so nice.
So yeah, like we're saying, it's not saying that Katie did have any kind of bias, but it's just something to kind of be mindful of. Like those of you who have been watching my entire series on this, like I love Katie. I think she's a great therapist and everything like that, but it's just something to kind of take into consideration that there might be some bias going on. Like, but it does seem to me, and I will make more videos on this, it does seem to me like Shane's just starting to understand, and I think this is a growing experience for Shane. I'm just gonna toss this in here, where he's starting to realize that you don't have to slap a diagnosis on everybody. You don't have to pathologize?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to, like, not everything is this disorder. Like some people are just raised a certain way, some people are jerks, some people have different morals, you know, and all sorts of stuff. Because one thing that my mom and I were talking about off camera is like, it's kind of a serious thing to throw a disorder, especially a personality disorder, on somebody. But yeah, anyways, that is my mother's reaction to the world of Jake Paul. So thanks, and yeah, leave comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are, and if you like this video, give them a thumbs up. Tell them to subscribe to my channel, Mom.
Oh, subscribe to his YouTube channel.
And ring those notification bells. You heard it from my mother, all right? But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will be making some more videos. I'm in California right now, but subscribe, because when I get back on my good computer, there will be editing and all sorts of amazing stuff. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.